Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Chaos Head Noah. It's been a while. I don't really remember how long it has been since the previous episode, but it has been a month or so maybe, somewhere around there. But we're back, and you guys probably wouldn't be able to tell. I don't think there's any telltale signs here at the main menu, but we are now running the newly released even, Committee of Zero patch. They have worked tirelessly for what, like a decade? Maybe two, maybe even three. Maybe even before the original game came out. They've been working to not only give us a translation, but ever since the release of Chaos Head Noah here in the West, to also fix the various issues that have come up with the game. And before we jump back into the game and all that, I wanted to state some opinions. I don't remember what I said in the beginning of the playthrough because I remember sitting here and rambling like I'm doing right now. If you don't want to hear any of my rambles, it is really just my stupid, annoying ass rambles. Go ahead and skip forward like 5 minutes. I'm sure I'll be done around there. But if you do want to hear, by all means. I'm very appreciative for the work that the people behind Committee of Zero have put in, truly. Absolutely, 100%. Do not get me wrong as I'm about to state what it is I'm about to state. For ever since practically finishing, I guess, Chaos Child, I know I did it in the wrong order, I've said this before, I've been told, whenever Chaos Head Noah comes out, it'll either be through Committee of Zero doing their own fan release, or using whatever console version was available at the time from the Japanese port, or whatever. Like, Committee of Zero is going to be the one that you're going to have to follow for getting onto Chaos Head. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm totally on board with that. Then we finally got a release date, and I was constantly told, suggested and told, I'm getting them mixed together, but I was basically told, all right, whenever this comes about, you'll need the patch. It's the only way you'll have, like, the best experience. And that became more and more apparent, I guess, as we got closer to release, because yes, there is stuff that was cut out. People have their opinions about the translation, and there are the apparent technical issues that this game does have. I'm not disagreeing that there are technical issues with this game. There are. It was actually very well known, that when the game released, the base Nintendo Switch version of this game you could not complete because it had a problem with, like, loading one of the ending sequences, so you were basically soft locked. You could not actually finish the game. So yeah, there were problems. One of the most apparent was actually I had to go into my NVIDIA control panel and manually set the highest refresh rate for this game as 60 because it would try to be too fast or whatever. It wasn't properly locked. There were problems. But I will say this. In my, 22 episodes that I've recorded so far, I have not had any major issues with how things read. There were, like, the minor problems here and there, but I see that in every visual novel ever. I have no complaints. I am not Japanese fluent by any means, so I can't compare translations. But people were saying that this read like dog shit, read like a machine, and people were saying, like, oh, you shouldn't trust translations and this and that because it could be anyone telling a story. And it just became really annoying with how people were telling both me and others, do not play this game, you will not get the correct experience and this and that. And basically everybody was having to be told to wait. And I don't think that's fair. I think people should be totally allowed to play the game however they want, but there were those that were absolutely against it and basically shunned and shamed those that would actually play the game. I don't think I'm one of those. I don't think anybody got angry at me for choosing to play up to somewhere, we're in chapter 6, without the patch or without waiting. I'm sure there were some that weren't happy with me jumping in as is, though. I will say that. From how people have told me to wait, suggested for me to wait, I don't know. So I don't want to necessarily say that this patch is necessary for your enjoyment of Chaos Head's story. There is stuff cut out, and that absolutely sucks dick. 100%. But if someone wanted to jump into the game and experience the story, I'm sure they can 100% just fine, and they can go back and see the stuff that they missed, and their experience won't be hindered whatsoever. I strongly believe that. Technical issues aside and all of that, I've had no issues personally with how everything reads and how everything other than the technical issues were presented to me. I was honestly enjoying my time up until I decided, you know, I'll stop and wait for the patch, because I was told, oh, you're getting into the stuff that was cut out, which again sucks, but it's not going to totally ruin the experience. I think people overreacted, but I don't want to step on any toes. You are free to be totally in disagreement with my opinions here, and I don't know. I guess that's all I have to say. I just am happy that I can finally put the wait for the patch conversations finally behind us. This has been a really weird playthrough because I started it on the Switch, jumped to PC, and now we're here after a brief hiatus. But we're here nonetheless. So I do want to acknowledge the Committee of Zero, that entire group, for putting in the work they did, but I think people should lay off others and not be so demanding that they play the game this specific way. You can suggest it, sure, but seeing that all the time is just, it does get a little on your nerves, if that makes sense. No offense to anyone, I'm just saying. Alright, I got my rant out of the way, we're good. We'll see how everything reads going forward. I know there's going to be some adjustments that we'll have to make, because I'm sure that spellings and other translations are a little different, and that's okay. We'll adjust. Maybe I'll be a bitch about it, but we'll jump in after my rambling here. If you listen to it, thank you. If you disagree with it, that's fine. If you agree with it, well, I gotta ask, what is wrong with you? What I will say, though, what I'm really fucking happy about is, hey, yay, we get an actual readable font. The other one was, like, way too spread out and annoying to read. I will admit that I was actually having some problems reading it from a visual standpoint, but it, you know, being in sentence structure and all that was totally fine, truly. Though I do wish, I will state this, and again, you can be in disagreement with me or not, I wish there was an option where we could have kept, for what was here, the original game translation, and have all the fixes. I'm sure that would have been an okay feature, but it is what it is. I'll stop with my talk about the patch. Let's actually play the game now, you know? I don't even remember what's been happening. I watched a little bit, like, and by watch I mean skimmed. I skimmed a little bit of the previous episode at the end. There's all the headaches that people were experiencing because of that wacky-ass earthquake that happened. We popped a flower bed into existence because What's-Her-Face was trying to jump off the building or something. Other than that, I don't really recall what happened. So bear with me on that. We are in Chapter 6, though. The off-hours entrance to AH Tokyo General Hospital featured an area where ambulances could pull up alongside the building in order to deliver emergency patients. 2 ambulances were currently parked there, and paramedics were carrying those injured during the earthquake into the hospital. A doctor wearing light green surgical scrubs and the middle-aged head nurse accompanying him were loudly directing the paramedics through the process. The area around the off-hours entrance was already lined with patients waiting to receive treatment, and the sheer number of which indicating how busy the doctors truly were. There were 2 types of patients getting carried into the hospital. First, the ones suffering from physical trauma. Patients would come in with blood flowing from their arms, legs, and foreheads. Jesus. Their faces contorted in pain. While their state made them difficult to look upon, their treatment had been relegated to a lower priority. The other type was those who were unconscious despite showing no signs of physical trauma. These patients were prioritized. The number of unconscious people was awfully high among the emergency patients brought in from this particular earthquake. Such a high number had not been observed following the previous major earthquakes. It was an entirely new phenomenon. Moreover, the doctors were unable to explain the reason why so many of them had fallen unconscious. Okay. Another ambulance arrived at the hospital, its siren blaring loudly. When the emergency responders disembarked from the ambulance, a doctor asked the patient's condition, and a paramedic immediately responded with, That was all it took. In a normal situation, the doctor would have protested, asked for more information. In such an unprecedented, chaotic situation, one would have expected that just shouting top priority would be answered by a succinct "you don't say." And yet, surprisingly, both the doctor and the head nurse merely gave a light nod and then proceeded to help unload the stretcher from the ambulance. The person laying on the stretcher was Kishimoto Ayase. Oh, that's her name. She was unconscious, yet faint moans escaped her lips. Paying no mind to the resentful gazes of the injured patients sitting around the entrance, the doctor and paramedics hurriedly carried the stretcher inside the hospital. A girl stood at the hospital's main entrance, observing the situation from a distance. Sakihata Rimi's eyebrows furrowed atop her stern expression. Her teeth sunk into her lip.
Kishimoto-san.
All right. I don't really know what to make of all that because, again, it's been a while. Maybe I chose to stop at a bad spot. I don't know. Obviously, I was concerned about the earthquake, but Shogun was way more of an issue to me. I couldn't get him out of my head. And speaking of, my headache was more or less gone, but anxiety had already swooped right on in to replace it, as did the depression that came with being alone. Haha, amen, brother. I still hadn't heard from Rimi. I tried to call her myself, but it had gone straight to voicemail. Up until now, Rimi had always come dashing in to rescue me, to tell me everything would be fine. So of all days for her not to do that, why today? Hadn't she told me that she would always stay by my side? I gritted my teeth, and then, as a way to escape my anxiety, I decided to focus entirely on reconfiguring my PC. Oh, that's right. I think his hard drive died or something. First things first, I needed to fix the settings on my email software. It'd been forever since I'd first set it up, so I couldn't remember how exactly to do it. Honestly, I feel the same way. Whenever I have to do that shit at work, oh my god, it's annoying. So the first thing I had to do was find the instruction manual that had been included with the email software provided by my ISP. Despite not putting in much actual physical work, I found myself drenched in sweat. I'd nearly given up out of frustration multiple times throughout the process. Excuse me. It had ended up eating a full hour of my time, half of which was spent trying to find the damn manual just to recover my email address. Well, now that I had it back, I should check it right away. Jesus Christ. Wait, what the fuck kind of emails is he getting? Ready to fuck a sexy college-age lolly? What? My husband cheated on me. Whose eyes are those eyes? There's a fun one from Nanami. Ooh. Why her? That's our sister, right? Urgent applicants needed 20 positions open. Cool. I had a great time last night. Me too. You have been gifted an honorary deposit. We should check that out. Have mind-blowing sex, and I'm a hopeless perv. Be my fuck buddy. Damn. If only I had these sort of emails. Or texts. I could finally hear that voice again. I felt so relieved. All that pain and suffering had all been worth it. I had 8 new emails, all of which were spam. You sure about that? Actually, hidden among the spam was an email with a strange subject line and an even stranger sender. Yeah, I'm a little confuzzled on that one. I groaned reflexively. What the hell? Was Nanami trying to prank me? If she was, then it was a pretty shitty thing to do. I genuinely wanted to punch her in the face. Jesus. No, wait a minute. There was no reason for me to get an email from Nanami. She had never contacted me using my computer's email address before. She'd always just texted me on my phone, like she had earlier. And not only that, but I had never even given her my email address. Was it just a coincidence? A fluke? Nanami was a common first name after all. And the phrase, whose eyes are those eyes, had become so popular, pretty much everyone was using it. There was nothing strange about it being used as a subject for a spam email. But just to soothe my anxiety, I decided to check the contents. I don't ever really recommend checking obvious spam, but I guess it's better than the ones around it.
さっきはチャットで話ができて楽しかったよ。ちなみに送信者の名前はダミー。僕の名前は将軍だよ。
Oh. Haha. Scary. Shogun? No, it couldn't be.
将軍が僕のメアド知ってるはずが。
Wait, what if Shogun had read my mind? If he'd done that, figuring out my email address would be child's play.
嘘でしょ?
Oh, here's our email. What the hell? I'm glad Ayase-san's safe. I initially planned to paint her as the next victim of my NewGen canvas, but suicide works too. You've outdone yourself, Takumi-kun. You've got a new high score. I'm very impressed. You really are something special. But enough about that stuff. Let's talk about Nishijo and Nanami-chan. The two of you are siblings, so I'd love to see some juicy drama unfold between you two. Ever since the earthquake hit, Shibuya has been pretty bloodthirsty. Whether we can reach a conclusion so touching it'll blast all that away in an instant, well, that's up to you. I can't read what's under there, so as I read the email, seeing how friendly he was acting toward me only served to creep me out even more. This guy, he was insane. Why would he... It's real hard to clear quests unarmed, isn't it? You're a hero, so don't you feel you deserve a legendary sword to match? I hope you do. So I hope you're looking forward to what I've got in store for you. At 9 p.m. tonight, I want you to come to the roof of O-Front. You're gonna be on TV, so make sure you put on a heroic tunic. Now then, let the quest to rescue Nanami begin. P.S. Oh, a present. What present did he give us? I remember him talking about a present, but then I got scared because, I don't know, presents, boxes, they're all scary things in this universe. He was talking about quests and high scores like this was some sort of game.
僕が勇者なんかじゃない。ナイトハルトじゃない。
Okay, that's something else I saw in their, I'm gonna be nitpicky. I know, I'm not supposed to, but I'm going to. I'm gonna continue to say Nightheart because that just rolls off the tongue a little bit better than trying to say that. So yeah, deal with that, I guess. He was planning to finally kill me. I couldn't go. There was no way I could go. I wanted to run away. Rimi, I need you to protect me. Why wasn't she answering me when I tried to contact her? Maybe she'd been injured in the earthquake? But back when I'd seen Misumi-kun, he didn't mention anything happening to her. I picked up my phone and checked if I had gotten any calls or texts from Rimi.
来てない。
Rimi, where did you... Right as I thought that, something stopped me. It was my texts. At the top of the list, I could see the text that Nanami had sent me earlier. Ayo? Something crazy happened at school today. There was a suicide attempt. It was so freaky, I haven't been that scared in a while. I hope she's okay. Were you at school when it all went down, big bro? Oh, and wow, that earthquake was crazy too. It gave me a really bad headache though. What was that all about? Was Nanami okay? I read Shogun's email again from top to bottom. But enough about that stuff, let's talk about Nishijo Nanami-chan. Now then, let the quest to rescue Nanami begin. What was that supposed to mean? Forget that, I should just call Nanami. I opened the address book on my phone. Only 3 numbers were registered there. Rimi's, Nanami's, and the number for my parents' house. Nanami was always nagging me to call her. Every time we saw each other, she'd bug me about it. Well, since she asked me so many times, I guess I could throw her a bone. So please answer. If you don't, I'm never calling you again. I swear to God, if you got injured during that earthquake, and aren't answering because of it, I'll never let you hear the end of it. What a caring older brother we are. I selected Nanami's number and pressed the call button. I put the phone to my ear. I heard nothing. The ringing tone did not start immediately. It was normal for my phone to take a second whenever I called with it, but right now, that 1 second of silence felt like an eternity. I was getting increasingly angsty.
早くしてよ。
Oh, we got ringing now.
よし、繋がった。
What the fuck, dog? No. Huh? What? That sound. What was that sound? I pulled my phone away from my ear. To be fair, that's a really loud ringtone. An unfamiliar melody echoed throughout the room. Could it be a ringtone? Aw, come on. Whose phone was ringing? But with the timing, what else could it be? I shook my head. I had never heard Nanami's ringtone, so there was no proof that the melody I was hearing was it. No proof at all. We'll go good here. I was getting scared now. I pressed my phone back to my ear. I mean, come on. Are we really gonna go into a delusion right now? No, we're not. Nanami still wasn't answering. Please pick up the phone already. Oh, she picked up.
Nanami.
Unless this is a delusion, because we were hearing the ringtone.
Nanami でしょ。返事しろよ。今どこにいるんだ。大丈夫なの。なあ、何か言って。Nanami。
実は。
Huh? What the? Something weird was going on. It was almost like I was hearing Nanami not just through the phone, but from somewhere really close by, too.
お前、一体どこにいるんだ。
Oh, you know, just literally standing behind you.
あのね、
上
My gaze wandered upward. Something was moving on top of my bed. A person. Someone was wriggling around up there, and because of how little space they had, eroge cases crumbled to the floor as they did. Don't tell me.
そこにいるの。
見つかっちゃったって。
I don't think that's what he said, by the way. I don't know. My guess had been right. Nanami peeked out from atop the bed with an apologetic look on her face. Had she just been hiding this whole time? But since when?
何が手だよ。それより車椅子の怪しいやつに会わなかったか。
What the fuck? Oh, there she is. As she got off the bed, I examined her from top to bottom to see if she was hurt anywhere.
鬼、ちょっと落ち着いてってば。
聞いてるんだ。答えろよ。お前、本当に大丈夫なのか。
それって、将軍のことだよね。
Hey, yo.
まさか。あったのか。どこで何をされた。
This has to be a delusion. I grabbed Nanami by the shoulders, desperately pressing her for an answer. Jesus Christ, yes, Nanami could be a huge brat, but if Shogun had defiled her, it'd be all my fault. Shogun had put his hands on her as a means to provoke me. To him, she was just collateral damage.
ごめん。
I was so ashamed I started to cry. I was causing problems not just for myself, but for those around me. Harmless otaku my ass, sorry I can't speak. I was a failure, not just as a brother, but as a human being. I was scum, complete and utter scum.
お兄、泣いてるの？もしかして、ナナのことを心配してくれてる？
ごめん、僕のせいで。
泣かないでよ。困ったな。実は、あの将軍のメール、ナナのいたずら、なんだ。
は？
I couldn't process what she'd said. I was stunned. This has to be a delusion. Come on.
将軍ってナナだったの。最初からずっと。お兄があんまりにもナナの相手してくれないから、ちょっとからかうつもりで、つい。だからね、ナナは誰にも何にもされてないし、全くピーピーしてるよ。お兄が泣くことなんてないの。わかった？
お前。
I was relieved. Upon learning that she deceived me, the release of all my tension and fear made me cry even harder. I couldn't believe that she'd do that to me, and I was pretty upset that she'd been screwing with me for so long. But none of that mattered right now.
ふざけんなよ。
ごめん。本当にごめんね、お兄。差し入れ持ってきたから、それで許して。
She held her hands together as if in prayer as she apologized to me, and then she cheerfully took out a paper box that had been hidden in the corner. Inside the box were 4 tiny cakes, oh thank God. 2 Mont Blancs and 2 cheesecakes. Sorry, I'm just really,
美味しそうでしょ？
I get really worried with boxes and gifts
ナナ
here.
の手作りだもん。お兄のために作ったんだからね。
Some of you might know why, some of you might not. It's okay.
ほら、一緒に食べよう。
Nanami put the box on my desk and then placed 2 cakes each on 2 different paper plates that she'd set out. No idea where they'd come from though.
ねえお兄、ナナのこと心配してくれてありがとう。すごく嬉しかった。お兄にもいいところあるじゃん。泣いちゃったのはちょっと情けなかったけどね。
Shut your mouth, you lying backstabbing bitch. Hey, yo. My pride had been torn to shreds. I'd been deceived, betrayed, and I even ended up crying. I couldn't believe how pathetic I was, how stupid I was.
でも、お兄がナナのお兄でよかった。
She smiled at me happily. It was a more peaceful sight than I was used to. How nice would it be if that was what actually happened? Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, that was nothing more than just an overly convenient, easy-to-swallow delusion of mine. It was too good to be true. Nanami still hadn't picked up, and the sound of someone's ringtone continued to echo throughout the room. The melody was a happy-go-lucky one, something that was in harsh contrast to my current state of mind. The sense of dread within me was growing. There was no getting around it. Nanami's phone was in this room. I couldn't think of any other explanation. I couldn't avert my eyes from reality anymore. P.S. Before I forget, did you get my present? This wasn't happening. It couldn't be. It didn't matter how much sense it made. It just couldn't be true. I slowly lowered the hand holding my phone. I couldn't even blink. My throat was dry as a desert. Even still, I searched for the source of the sound. This time, I slowly, ever so slowly, examined each and every object scattered throughout the room. I hated myself more than ever for not cleaning my room. If only I was more organized, I could have spotted where it was coming from immediately. Where the hell was it coming? Did we find it? Oh. Why is it taped up? That box. The song was coming from inside of it. It was the size of about 2 eroge cases. Why is that our comparison? At first I thought it was something I'd bought online, but there was nothing printed on it. There wasn't a shipping label either. It was sealed with duct tape. Had this large box always been here? Had it fallen from the bed during the earthquake?
Yeah.
It couldn't have. I'd never seen it before. If it was something I'd bought online, I would have opened it straight away. If it was something I had sold and was shipping to someone else, I would have sent it off the moment I sealed it up. For a second, I considered that maybe Nanami had dropped it off, but I couldn't remember her bringing in a cardboard box of this size. Which could only mean, during the hour I'd been at school, someone had entered my base. I have a present for you. I hope it pleases you. I don't think it's going to be pleasing us all that much. Are we locking the door or something? What's happening? My heart was beating out of my chest. In a panic, I went to check the lock on my door. Can we answer the phone already? Like, can we just smash our hand through the box and, like, at least press end call? A chill ran down my spine. Earlier in the day, when I'd wandered outside my base, I didn't remember locking the door. Honestly, that's a very common occurrence. Whenever, like, you walk away from your car thinking that you locked it, you start to overthink, well, wait a minute, did I actually lock it? And you go back and maybe you didn't, maybe you did. It's like 50-50. You don't really trust yourself whether you've actually, locked it. And I couldn't blame myself. At the time, I'd been suffering from a stabbing headache and I was really dizzy. When I'd come back from school an hour later, I hadn't locked the door then either. Anyone could have easily gotten in. Was it Shogun? Had Shogun really broken in? I looked at the box again. The song was still playing. Nanami's phone was in there. I nervously lifted the cardboard box. It was heavy. With how heavy it was, there was no way there was just a phone inside. Oh no, dude. No, what else is in there? I don't trust this shit anymore. It weighed about the same as 500 milliliters of what the fuck is with these comparisons, dude? I was hesitant to open it. I had a very bad feeling about this. But there was nothing else I could do. I had to open it. Can we turn on like a camera, webcam or something and do an unboxing? I was too worried about Nanami. She was a total brat, but at the end of the day, she was still my little sister. Nanami's phone was in the box. In other words, someone had taken her phone from her. Now then, let the quest to rescue Nanami begin. That had been Shogun's email. I looked at the clock. It was already past 7:30 p.m. Nanami might be in danger. I had no choice but to open it. I mean, we don't have to necessarily. We could just, like, skip that part and, like, go to the, what was it, the O front building? Like we were supposed to for 9 p.m. Get a head start. Or, ask for help. My heart refused to stop pounding. Large drops of sweat began trickling down my forehead. With a moan, I wiped away the sweat with the back of my hand, and then I slowly tore off the shoddily applied duct tape. If there's a limb in there, dude, I am going to be so fucking pissed. That's all I'm gonna say. Mumbling that like a prayer, I opened the box. Oh. Inside was a lump of aluminum foil, packed carefully with cushioning material, but there's no way that alone could keep it, like, that heavy, even with foil around the phone. So what else is in there? I peeked fearfully inside the box, but the phone was nowhere to be seen. The song was coming from inside the foil. Sweat got in my eyes and it stung. Before I knew it, my entire body had gotten soaked in sweat. No, I can't do this anymore. Why me? Why does it have to be me? I nearly said those tearful complaints out loud, and I would have, honestly. I pleaded with Saraton for comfort, but she didn't say anything. I wonder why. A myriad of delusions swirled within my head, so much that it felt like it was on the verge of exploding. I couldn't even focus hard enough to have a delusional conversation with Saraton. My mind was racing so fast I couldn't even think straight. And yet, despite the near shutdown of my brain, the happy-go-lucky melody from the phone kept assaulting me relentlessly. It's been like 10 minutes with it ringing, dog. We gotta, like, open it. Having made up my mind, I pinched the edges of the aluminum foil with my fingers. And what do we got? Closed my eyes, held my breath, and tore off the aluminum foil in one go. Oh, wow, that is loud. I could hear the song even more clearly than before. I was too afraid to open my eyes. Can we just, like, deny the call already? Hurry up, dude, please. I tried as hard as I could to catch my breath, but to no avail. It was fine, everything was fine, there was nothing to be afraid of. It was just a harmless prank from Nanami, I doubt that. Just wait, any second now, Nanami is gonna burst into the room with a big smile on her face, yelling, "Surprise, haha, I got you." Yeah, I was sure of it, there was no reason to even consider anything else. Once she said that, I'd lay into her like never before. And then I'd never talk to her ever again. Go on, Nanami, prove me right. Come on, dude, hurry up. Just open your eyes at least. I had to open my eyes. I couldn't keep staring at the darkness. Not looking at it was what was only making things worse. All it did was force me to imagine what horrors might be inside. I couldn't imagine I couldn't handle any more terrifying delusions. There we go. And so, I slowly opened my eyes and saw it. What is it? What is it? Come on. Oh, dude, no, I knew it. I knew it, dude. Fucking shit, dog. Fuck. That's fucking nasty. I knew it, though. Fuck. God, now even my dog is pissed. I can hear him barking outside. Damn it. Lying in the foil was a hand. A cleanly severed, slender hand. Grasped in that hand was a phone identical to mine, and wrapped around its wrist was... That's right, yeah. It was that bracelet that she wanted, the shitty one. Well, this sucks. My dog is still unhappy. Oh, can we do something about that, by the way? It is really loud. A yellow leather band that had turned crimson. A bangle. Nice. Wow. That would have been great if that was just all a delusion, by the way.
少し専門的な話になりますが。
君は元医師だろ。患者に説明するように分かりやすく簡潔に話してもらえるとありがたい。
努力しましょう。さて、人間の脳の中にある何億という脳細胞。それらは細い神経の糸を出し合って、それぞれに手をつないでいるような格好をしています。しかし実際には各神経の先端にある手と手の間にはごくわずかな隙間が空いているんですよ。脳細胞に情報の電気信号が送り出されると、その神経の手のひらから極小の物質ドーパミンがボールのように飛び出してきます。
Oh, don't worry, game. I am quite certain I know what dopamine is.
それは反対側の神経の手のひらにキャッチされ、再度情報の電気信号に変わってまた隣の脳細胞に伝わっていく。脳の構造は簡単に言うとその繰り返しです。我が社が開発した第2世代ノア2はこの部分に干渉することで人に疑似的な映像を見せることを可能としました。
ホログラムのようなものか。
あるいは幻覚かな。
幻覚の方が近いでしょう。ですが明確に違う点として、その疑似的映像は確かな存在感があるものとして映るということです。人間の目、視覚というのは実に興味深いものです。視野は単眼の場合、鼻側60度、耳側100度程度、両眼の重複視野は120度で、周辺視野を含めれば180度から200度もの視界が広がっているんです。 その一方で以前ご説明したようなデッドスポットもまた存在する。
Oh, wait, dead spots. Why does that sound familiar?
脳にとって視覚とは最もつながりの深い部位です。脳はそのおよそ 80% を視神経情報の処理のためだけに使っている。
その点については300人委員会も注目しておる。
人間の視覚にはまだまだ謎が多い。世界中で研究テーマとして上がっているものだけでも1000以上に及ぶからね。
アメリカで数年前に発行された行政命令、機密の人体研究に対する保護の強化
We did?
というのは委員会による圧力ですか？
圧力ではない。これは選定だよ。
300人委員会はどこの馬の骨とも知れん研究者がこの分野に足を踏み入れることを歓迎せん。当然ながらアメリカだけではなく世界各国にも同様の指示は出ている。
我が国は随分自由のようですね。私のような人間を放置しているぐらいですから。
勘違いしてはいかんな。何のために我々がいると思っている？
君はすでに選定済みなんだよ。だからこそ君には何よりも成果が求められている。
300人委員会をも出し抜けるような成果というわけですね。
うかつな口を聞くなと言っておる。
Yeah, that's kind of stepping on toes right there, if I
今
do
は
say
ま
so
だ我ら
myself.
の真の目的を誰にも悟られてはならない。たとえ委員会に対してもね。
これは失礼。
説明を続けたまえ。
ノア2が生み出した疑似的映像は視神経パルスに変換して電磁波として照射します。対象の皮膚や頭蓋骨を貫通して直接ドーパミン受容体、つまり先ほどの説明でいうところの手のひらにキャッチさせるのです。そしてデッドスポットへと最終的に落とし込まれる。特に G レートの高いエリアの人々は空中の映像パルス信号を敏感にキャッチします。混乱した脳はその疑似的映像を現実だと判断することになります。これが人間の視界の中に無から有を作り出すメカニズムです。ノア2を用いれば街中のどこを見ても先生の選挙ポスターだらけなどという芸当も容易というわけです。ただしあくまで人々のバイオリズムが高い状態であることが条件ですが。
What?
幻覚によって意志を誘導するか。沈黙の兵器とシステムは同じというわけだね。
Yeah, okay, hold on. I'm curious about silent weapon. Devices designed to implement mind control on a global scale. They allow for the automation of society and the enslavement of all humanity except for the few elite. Based on the top secret document, silent weapons for quiet wars discovered in the United States. Again, what are we doing? But no, they seem to be talking about a lot of the terminology or I guess also the functionality of, shit, I can't remember the actual name of it, but basically our main characters here, what they're doing with their D swords and powers and shit.
条件さえ満たせば対象の見ている世界を自在に書き換えることができる。
それはギガロマニアックスと同等の力ということか。
That right there.
その通りです。ノア2は機械仕掛けのギガロマニアックスと言ってもいいでしょう。理論値通りに稼働を始めればギガロマニアックスたちと同等、いや近い将来それ以上の能力を再現できるようになります。
だが効果の有効範囲はどうなっている？電磁波は垂れ流しなのかね？
それでは汎用性という点がおろそかになる。我々は無差別な洗脳を望んでおるわけではない。対象は選定できなければ無意味だぞ。
ご心配なく。そのために機能因子を用意してあります。モニターをご覧ください。
なんだこの小汚い連中は。
Yeah, I guess that's one way to describe these characters here,
我
especially
が
that
社
one
で
in the
は
middle.
ポーターと呼んでいます。言い換えればマインドコントロールのための部隊といったところでしょうか。
Oh, you know what? There was that one weird case there in that park or whatever. What's her face came across that. I don't know what was going on there.
彼らが背負っているリュックの中にはノア2のパルス波を送受信するためのポートが入っています。ポートは信号を受け取るとリモートで周囲へと放出するわけです。
歩く端末というわけか。それならば有効範囲の制限などないに等しいな。
Death Stranding vibes, am I
限
right?
定的使用も問題ないことになるね。
状況は理解した。貴様は引き続き計画を続行したまえ。
ただし300人委員会に悟られるような言動はくれぐれも慎むように。
あとは何人犠牲を出そうと構わん。
ご理解いただきありがとうございます。それではポーターとして使える人材を提供していただきたいです。
手配しよう。
それと引き続き先生方にはメディアのコントロールをお願いいたします。すべては我ら3人の目指す理想のために。
Yeah, I guess they would need to have some media control, huh? I guess if you're doing some crazy shit like that, you really gotta have, like, some grasp. Why are we going right into a delusion here? Oh, that's why. We need help
タッキー
in a lot of ways.
ねえタッキー聞こえてるっしょ。
聞こえてるよセイラタン。
さもうこのゲーム終わりにしようよ。
ゲーム？
ナナミッチはタッキーの大事な妹だってのはわかるけど、きっともう手遅れだよ。
そんなことないよ。
だって腕を切り落とされちゃったらさ、普通出血多量で死んじゃうっしょ。ゲームだったら違うかもだけど。
なんでナナミは。
もうさゲームオーバーなんだよきっと。
But we're only in, like, chapter 6. Isn't there, like, I don't know, 15 to 20 of these chapters?
早くゲームをやめないと。
I'm guessing numbers here,
もっとたくさん
obviously.
人が死んじゃう。
でもセイラタンだって悪いやつと戦ってるじゃないか。
だって私はアニメだもん。
Alright, fantastic. Oh, hey, we're outside. Even better. I forcefully shoved Seraton's figure inside the inner pocket of my uniform.
助けなきゃ。僕が。
Why did we bring that with us? I had brought Seraton as a good luck charm. Well, there we go. In a normal situation, I would never get caught dead carrying around a figure, because it could get damaged, obviously. Good reason. That's sarcasm, sorry. Destroying your precious waifu was the most horrible thing an otaku could do. But right now, I couldn't bring myself to abide by my usual policies. I needed the emotional support above all else. And on top of that, I might not live to see another day anyway. I took one last glance at Seraton. Her head was sticking out of my pocket, and by doing so, I managed to hold back the tears that were on the verge of flowing out. Suddenly, someone bumped into me from behind, making me stumble. I turned around to see some Dokuns staring at me with an annoyed look. And yet, much to my surprise, he didn't say anything. He simply vanished into the crowd. I looked around. I was at Scramble Crossing. The crowd was so huge, it was hard to believe it was 9 p.m. on a weekday, not to mention the very same day an earthquake had killed 100 people. I felt like I was suffocating, waiting for the pedestrian sign. People were surrounding me from every direction. And for some reason I wasn't aware of, the media that was flooding in too. People with huge TV cameras were forcing themselves onto the road, halting traffic. And the flashes coming from them every couple seconds nearly blinded me. A group of people who were likely reporters were giving passionate speeches to their respective cameras. A few policemen were attempting to shoo away the mass media and pedestrians standing on the road, but gaining back control of the situation seemed pretty much impossible. It was like a paradise for people without cars. Were they holding some kind of event? Why this late? Why today? Considering 100 people had died, that was definitely in bad taste. Didn't they have any kind of respect? And if there was an event, it was crazy that even the mass media was joining in on the insanity. Japan was over. Not that it mattered to me.
助けなきゃ。僕が助けなきゃ。
The place Shogun had told me to go was O-Front, a building which sat right in front of Scramble Crossing, the one with the Tatsuya and star bricks located inside it. Ah boy, good old star bricks. I really didn't want to come alone, but I couldn't get in touch with Rimi no matter how many times I tried. And the police were probably still mistaking me for the NewGen culprit, so I couldn't go to them. But the time Shogun had set was getting closer and closer, and I was too worried about Nanami to stay home, so I had no choice but to go there while holding on to Saratan. Up, up, up we go. I carved a path through the sea of people, and somehow managed to get inside O-Front. Unfortunately for me, it was pretty crowded inside too, but I didn't even have the strength to be upset about it. The only thing on my mind were my prayers for Nanami's safety. I took the escalator that led up to the upper floors. Using one of the windows inside the star bricks, I was able to look down towards Scramble Crossing. Now that I was looking at it from above, it was even more crowded than I thought. And they weren't just standing there either. Some were waving, some were jumping, and some were doing both. Countless dark heads bobbed up and down. It was even more blinding now than when I was down there. I felt like all the lights were pointed at me. With each new floor the escalator brought me to, the heartbeat got faster, my heartbeat got faster and faster. Those are words. I took out my phone to check the time. There was 1 minute left before 9 p.m., the time that he had set. The thought of Shogun killing Nanami out of anger, it terrified me so much that I started sprinting up the steps of the escalator, pushing aside anyone in my way. And I changed to an elevator to access the top floor. I didn't know how to get onto the rooftop after that, but as I wandered around, I spotted an emergency staircase. No one stopped me as I shot through it, and I successfully made my way to the rooftop. And what are we gonna see up here? A strong wind was blowing. Considering it was the end of October, it was weirdly lukewarm outside. It took a minute, but I soon realized it wasn't a natural breeze, but one blown by the outdoor AC unit. I buttoned the front button of my uniform so that Saratan wouldn't fall out. God damn it.
どういたしまして。
Okay, you don't have to say that part out loud. I felt a slight sense of relief when I heard Saratan's voice in my head. Saratan was with me, so there was nothing to be afraid of. I desperately tried to convince myself of that. Before that moment, I had yet to realize how dark it was. The only source of light was from the back of the lit O-Front sign. Ironically, the neon lights from the surrounding buildings were too bright for me to see anything. If someone was hiding in the shadows, I would have been incapable of seeing them. Okay. Okay. My heartbeat, which had started to finally calm down, skyrocketed once again after hearing those words break the silence. I looked all around me, but I was unable to figure out what direction the voice had come from. And then I heard a sound, a squeaking sound that I had heard several times before. This time I deliberately focused my gaze into the rampant darkness. There I spotted the glow, the backlit outline of a wheelchair's wheels.
Huh?
Well, where is he? Shogun.
ようこそ、匠くん。
He was talking to me like he knew me, like we were friends. It felt so wrong, goosebumps sprang up on my skin. I didn't want to talk to him. I was too scared. I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible.
じゃあ逃げちゃおうよ。このままじゃタッキー殺されちゃう。
But Nanami was...
君はすごく勇気のある人だ。ちゃんと一人で来てくれるとは。ありがとう。と言っておくよ。
I don't think your thanks does really much any for us, or anything there for us. Wait a minute. Something was off about him. He was different from before. Yeah, his voice. Something was off about his voice.
その声。
声なんて、ただの空気の振動でしかないよ。
どう聞こえるか、その場の条件によって変わる。
そうだろ?
What was going on? His voice kept changing. Was he using some kind of voice changer? Did he want to hide who he was by disguising his voice? Why now then? Why hadn't he before? That aside though, I wasn't following what he was saying.
タッキーを混乱させようとしてるんさ。油断しちゃダメ。誰の言葉も信じちゃダメ。
You're right. You're completely right, Saratan. Saratan is always spoke nothing but truth. I tightly squeezed Saratan's body through my clothes.
ななみはどこ?
It felt like my heart was about to burst from the fear. Even still, I desperately forced out my voice. I thought stuff like this only happened in TV and video games.
ななみはもう死んだの?
ダウト。だって手首ちょん切られちゃったんだよ。もし生きてるにしても、もうすぐ出血多量で死んじゃうのは変わんないよ。
I mean, you could tie something there and it'll be alright. Tears began to flow. Nanami's sulking face appeared in my mind. Honestly, she was a brat, a really annoying one. And yet, despite that, I was so sad. Sad enough for tears to flow.
ななみは僕の妹なんだ。僕の大切な、なんで殺したんだ。ひどいよ。
死んだと思う。もしかしたら君の家に送ったあの手首は別人のものかもしれないよ。バングルと携帯はナナミちゃんのものだとしても、手首そのものは別人のものかもしれないっていうこと。
This character sure does know a lot. Nanami was alive?
信じちゃダメだってば。
君が見事クエストをクリアしたら、ナナミちゃんは返すよ。生きているナナミちゃんを、ね。
Quest. Shogun had used that word again. Did he want to me to okay, come on. What is this? Did he want me to think of this like a game? But the real me wasn't a hero. He wasn't anything like one. Honestly, that wasn't even like the first mistake I saw. There are some punctuation issues here and there. I'm just trying not to be picky. Suddenly, Shogun's voice became cold as ice. Getting scared of some old guy like this was pathetic, but this man wasn't normal. This man was the NewGen culprit.
だから僕を失望させないようやり遂げてほしい。君ならできるよ。
なんで僕なの?
What is it that we have to even do?
僕じゃなくても、僕なんかじゃなくてもいいじゃないか。
君でなくちゃダメなんだ。
だからなんで?
君は選ばれた人間だから。
I was the chosen one.
勘
And
違い
how
しちゃ
heroic
ダ
is
メだよ、
that?
タッキー。
What a main character we are.
あいつの言う選ばれたってのは、次の犠牲者として選ばれたって意味なんだから。
The tragic end of all the NewGen victims flashed through my mind, setting shivers down my spine.
君は今日の昼間のことをもちろん覚えているよね。
昼間?
学校で君は岸本綾瀬を助けた。
We done diddly did do that. Shogun had also mentioned Ayase's suicide attempt in the email. He must have been observing the whole debacle from somewhere. Or maybe he'd been mind controlling Ayase. Maybe he was the reason she'd tried to kill herself.
あの花壇のおかげで岸本綾瀬は一命を取り留めた。そうでしょ？
That was a big ass flower bed. God damn. Shogun knew about my power. Back at school, no one had even questioned the existence of the flower bed. The only one that had was Senna. Then she'd gone on to accuse me.
お前が妄想したんだろ。タッキー、将軍の言うことは全力で否定して。
Right. Maybe the entire reason why Shogun was following me around, why he was trying to kill me, was because I had powers. If I had claimed that I didn't have any powers, maybe he'd let me off the hook.
僕にはそんな力ない。
力？力って何のこと？僕はそんな言葉は一言も使っていないが。
Shit.
タッキーには力なんてないよ。ただの肝オタなんだよ。タッキーにヒーローの素質なんてないさ。私にハーハーしてるだけの無害の引きこもり予備軍。そうっしょ？
Well, it is the harsh truth. Yeah. The idea that I had actual real-life powers was nothing more than chuny bullshit I dreamt up. I'd almost been convinced by what Senna and Ayase had told me. But those two were raging mental cases. They weren't right in the head. Well, neither are we. I mean, come on. And I wouldn't be much better if I actually just believed them without a second thought. Even Rimi had said it was delusional.
詳しく説明してくれない？あの花壇のこととか。
僕がやったっていう証拠はあるの？花壇を何もないところから出現させるなんて、そんなの僕には無理。
花壇が何もないところから出現したんだ。他の人は誰もが最初からそこに花壇があったって話していたけど、君だけは花壇は最初はそこになかったってそう認識しているわけだ。
No, I dug my grave even deeper. What kind of monster was this guy? When he'd mentioned that he talked to everyone, did that mean he'd physically gone to my school and talked to the people there?
僕は力なんてない。自分でも一体どうやったのか。
でも使えた。君が妄想したことが現実になった。
惑わされないで。タッキー、本当に力なんてあると思う？そんなのアニメの世界じゃん。
Well, technically it is.
タッキーがいるのは現実なんだよ。花壇のことも綾瀬っちが2人に分裂したこともそれらが現実だったって証明できる？無理っしょ？分裂した綾瀬っちの体に触った？
No.
ただの幻かも。そもそもタッキーはあの時警察とかユアッチに追われて動転してたし。
Then what about the flower bed?
同じだよ。花壇は最初からそこにあった。タッキーはリミッチを探してあそこへ行った時頭が痛くてフラフラしてた。綾瀬っちが落ちるまでにはっきりとそこに花壇があることを確認した。みんな誰一人として花壇が出現したことを疑問に思ってないってことはさ、逆に言えば最初からそこにあったから疑問に思わないってことっしょ。タッキーが間違えてただけなんだよ。将軍の言葉に惑わされちゃダメ。
花壇は最初からそこにあった。
I repeated what Seraton had said.
最初はそこにはなかったって思い込んでたけど記憶違いだった。僕の脳内での妄想だよ。だってみんなあそこには花壇があったって言ってるんでしょ。力とかそういうわけのわからないものじゃなくてただの思い込みだったんだ。
いや、君には力がある。そうだろ？
死にたくない。
そうだろ？
わからない。 殺さないで。
君は自分の天才的な力についてもっと自覚するべきだよ。その潜在能力はすごすぎる。君なら世界を変えることだってできるんだ。
Oh, do we now? I wanted to go home. I wanted to hole up inside my base and play ESO forever, glued to a chair for eternity like a disabled person. Oh, careful what you say now. I wanted to spend my days grinning over Seraton's figure and marathoning Bloodtune on loop. That was all I wished for.
タッキー、早く逃げて。私がずっと一緒にいてあげる。私だけがタッキーの味方なの。だから帰ろう。3次元とのつながりなんて断ち切って楽しいことだけして生きよう。
さて、前置きはこれぐらいにして、そろそろクエストを始めよう。
Oh, that wasn't the quest?
まずは下のスクランブル交差点がよく見えるところまで行ってほしい。
逃げなきゃ。このままじゃ本当に殺されちゃうよ。
聞こえなかった？スクランブル交差点を見下ろせるところへ移動するんだ。
His tone was soft, yet his voice was unbelievably cold. His voice was so sharp, any will I had left to defy him was sapped away.
何を。
My legs were shaking, and they refused to move. I wrapped my arms around myself. I had even lost the ability to discern whether I should listen to his order or not.
僕の言うことが聞けない？従ってもらわないと、ナナミちゃんの命は保証できないよ。
どうせもう死んじゃってるよ。タッキーが今から頑張ったってただの無駄死にだよ。
ナナミの声聞かせて。
I managed to squeeze that out, my voice small as could be. However, Shogun rejected my request in an instant.
その必要はないよ。君はもう少し今の状況を考えた方がいい。
I didn't want to think about Nanami's death. I didn't want to imagine her dying. I was too afraid that if I imagined it, it would become real. In the end, I relented. I started walking to a spot where I could look down at Scramble Crossing like Shogun had ordered me to. I could barely see where I was going. If I wasn't careful, I could easily trip and fall. On the side of the rooftop facing Scramble Crossing, a transparent acrylic plate protruded out and up like a wall. It was about 3 stories high. As I approached the wall, I could hear the tumult of the crossing below. A single woman's voice caught my ear. It seemed like it was coming from the Jumbotron mounted on a neighboring building.
アクリル板の壁に一箇所だけ壊れて穴が開いている部分があるだろ。
I wiped away the cold sweat on my forehead and then, moving only my eyes, I looked toward the wall. Just as Shogun had said, there was a hole where a single person could pass through. It had an unnatural shape to it, like it had been smashed open. It clearly been destroyed by human hands. Of course, there was nothing beyond the hole, only a sheer 8-story drop leading straight down to the concrete below.
そこから顔を出して下にいるギャラリーに挨拶してあげて。
What? What did he just said?
もう一度言おうか。その穴から身を乗り出して下にいる人たちに手を振ってあげてほしい。
He couldn't mean...
ほら、あいつタッキーを殺す気なんだって。
He wants us to make a scene. I gulped. He doesn't necessarily want us to, like, step on out there and fucking fall. He just wants us to lean out there and, like, get people's attention. Was this how he'd gotten the 5 people to jump off? It really was exactly as Seraton had said. There was no way out of it. I was going to die. He was going to make me jump down from here and die.
そんなの嫌だ。
拒否すればナナミちゃんは死ぬよ。
従えばタッキーは死んじゃうよ。
What the hell was I supposed to do? I tried to figure out what the best course of action was, but the only things circling my mind were the most negative delusions possible. I was unable to think straight. Someone save me.
鬼のバーカ。
I could hear Nanami's voice echoing within my panic-stricken ears.
ヒヒバーカ。
Memories of Nanami smiling happily resurfaced in my mind. She looked so carefree. It was all my fault. Nanami had nothing to do with any of this, but because of me, she'd gotten kidnapped by Shogun, and then he'd cut off her hand. I'm sorry, Nanami, I'm so sorry. I wiped away my tears, but that didn't stop them. I wiped once again. Then, with my vision still blurry, I slowly approached the smashed hole. This is my hole. It's only mine. It's made for me. And then, more afraid than I'd ever been before, I looked down. Hey, yo, what up? Suddenly, a huge cheer akin to the rumbling of the very earth itself came from the people below. A large crowd was gathered in front of the station. The media was there too. They were all there for an event that was about to unfold. Suddenly, a blinding light hit me. I squinted reflexively and looked away. Then, when my eyes landed upon the jumbotron of the closest building, what I saw was unmistakably... It was us. Me. Huh? Me? On the jumbotron was my own face covered in tears, and with my mouth hanging half open like an idiot. My back was hunched too. For a split second, I thought I was hallucinating. A chill ran through me, as I thought that someone was secretly recording me somewhere. I then considered if what was being projected there was actually images taken from my thoughts by Shogun. But after oh yep, that is us. But after exhausting every last possible option, I realized that it had to be a live feed of me right at this very moment at this very place. And the video playing on the jumbotron even had a news ticker featuring sensational taglines. Live from the Shibuya Station Plaza, the amazing Esper Boy finally makes his debut. The ticker commentating the situation was situated along the bottom of the screen. The amazing Esper Boy, endorsed by the Psychic of the Century, Yuri Brightman, appears. Don't miss this one. Will he divine the NewGen perpetrator's true identity? After reading it, I finally understood. I finally understood what the media and the spectators on the scramble crossing below were looking at. It was me. Don't look at me. Oh, they looking real good. Okay, I know this isn't really the best area to save and end this episode, but this has been a pretty long recording session, so I will save it here. Alrighty, gamers. That'll be it for this one, I suppose. I've been just using all these slots, haven't I? Whoopsies. We'll loop back around. But wow, what an episode. What a way to come back to all this. What a wild time. I guess you got to give it a hand to the, I'm not even going to do that. But anyways, yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you again to the Committee of Zero for, doing all the work they did. And, I'm happy to have the patch in my hands. I'm happy that we can put the conversation behind us and we can just move on. And, I'm excited to get through Chaos Head. Like, at the end of the day, that's all that matters, is to get through the fucking story. And I'm excited to get through it with you all. So thank you again for watching this long-ass episode. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy.